Congratulations, you made it. We are in the middle of February, and I am so glad you are here. It is not an accident that you are here for such a time as this. Tonight, we're talking about some tough love. And I want you to know I'm coming from a place of hard earned experience and painful heartbreak. And my goal here today, if I can save one family, the devastation we've experienced with medical injury for our children, then I've done my job. We can all have differing opinions and still play in the same sandbox. My name is Bren Harris. I founded Warrior Moms by Bren when my son was medically injured at 22 months of age. We have walked through hell. Now we walk through it like we own the place, and you can too, because today we lock arms with like-minded parents and advocates, and we take water back to those still in the fire, because success rarely happens in a vacuum. We succeed faster and more sustainably. Hear me, warriors. We succeed faster and more sustainably when we work together. Now, I realize tonight might not be everyone's cup of tea. Hey, let us know in the comments where you're chiming in from. If you threw a dart right at the U.S., here in the States, that's where we are. And right now, I just looked it up on the smartphone, and it's -10. And we are so done with winter, it's not even funny. And I have a little funny for you. Here we go. And I love that we can laugh because I would cry. I am not a fan of winter. Here we go. Charlie Brown. If we could just skip to May and 75-degree weather, that would be great. Yes and yes, amen. I'm so glad you are here. We know there's a lot of tragedies happening across our world. We have planes falling out of the sky. We have floods. We have fires. And I just want you to know you're not alone, and that this too will pass, and that together we are stronger. Now, for those of you who really haven't been here before, if you're just catching this, it's no accident. It's not an accident you were scrolling and saw all of this. My son is now 16, and I will show you. He is my why. And when I say we've walked through hell, I am not exaggerating. And this was a few weeks ago on National Hug Day. That's one of our medical appointments out of state. And we have been detoxing for almost 5 years from the toxins through medical injury. Now, you might say, well, aren't toxins for radiation poisoning or something? No, we're talking about genetic condition that we didn't know about. We didn't know what we didn't know. And we're also talking about, hey, come on in and let's talk about what is recommended by the medical community. And they're not even reading the inserts. Now, I'm not trying to blame or shame here. I'm saying, hey, let's look. And we have 2 words. My son learns new words by American Sign Language, ASL. His name is Zach, so this will not be exact. We jokingly refer to it as Zachanese. So our first word is who. So put your thumb to your chin, and then you're going to just make a question mark. Who? Just like this. Who? Yep, just like that. Good. And then who says? Who says? And you could put your own expletive emphasis adjectives in there too, because sometimes I look at people who are supposed to be experts and I'm like, who says? What's the workaround? So our kind of Zachanese slang is who says? Who says? What's the workaround? Are you just parroting what you've been told to say? Have you even looked at the 2-point font inside the inserts to all of these injections we're injecting our children with? And I have to be real careful here because we're across all social media platforms and we get censored. Now, just so you know, I will put this up at the end of the program too. I have a masterclass and we're going offline and we're going to really dial back the layers. Here we go. Save the date. Tuesday, February 25th, same time, take back your right to parent your way. I like to say, take back your freaking power, okay? And it is okay because truth doesn't mind being questioned. A lie does, or misinformation does. And I am not misinformation. Hey guys, Florida in the house, Seattle in the house. Oh, excellent. Morocco in the house. Excellent. Yes. And I am so glad that we have the opportunity to say, here's my experience. Here's my story. I'm sharing it with you so that we can make more informed decisions. Now, let's go in the Wayback Machine. We lived in Japan on the beautiful, amazing southern island of Okinawa. It was like a miniature Hawaii. We were there for several years, and that is where my son was born, in a military hospital. Thank you for all who have served. And I have a military story to go with this, so please resist shooting the messenger. And it was hard because I didn't get a lot of choices. It was, okay, you're 39 weeks, you must be induced, you must do this, you must do that. And I really didn't have the opportunity. There were no midwives, were no birthing centers. This was the only game in town. And we don't know what we don't know. Hey guys, good to see you. Yes, yes. Our sign tonight, who says? And when somebody's talking to you and you're thinking you are so full of it, you can just go, yeah, See how that Zachanese slang works? And I don't claim to have all the answers. That's my biggest trick in my parenting hack bag. I really don't claim to have all the answers. What I do know is, now that I have seen the light and I have actually read what's in all of this stuff they're putting in our baby children and our teens. Hello. No, absolutely not. Now, this is one of my favorite sayings, and this is a camera rich environment. You're welcome to take screenshots or share this. If this doesn't apply to you, and bless all, if you have not been affected by any kind of medical injury, or your children have not been injured and and they're completely neurotypical and they're thriving, bless you. Please share this with the family. As of this message, 20 years ago, it was 1 in 10,000 people were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. My son is diagnosed with ASD level 3 nonverbal. Now, let me tell you, if I had waved a magic wand, I would have never wished for this journey, ever. I mean, we have gone through injuries to both parents and caregivers, to himself, self-injurious behavior. We call that SIB. And what I want you to know is that when we look at lifestyle and we detox and we change how we eat, both of us, almost 11 and a half years, have been gluten-free. Why is that? Because gluten in wheat in the United States is loaded with a pesticide called glyphosate. Ever heard of Roundup? Yeah, I know. As soon as this post, download it, because it probably will get censored. And glyphosate wreaks havoc in our bodies. And it is putting people, in terminal illness. I mean, all the lawsuits, because our bodies are not able to detox this crazy substance, and it continues to be used. Why? Because it's cheap and people are making a lot of money off of it. Hear me, warriors. If someone says, you can say, who says? And then you're going to say, what's the workaround? All right. Follow the money. If someone's recommending something to you, follow the money. Now, now get your cameras ready. Here we go. Want to hear something wild? If I spoon fed my child vaccine ingredients, I would be in jail. I do not do this. I'm saying, let's do tongue in cheek. I'm saying, would you sit down and serve your child formaldehyde? Would you sit down and feed your precious child aborted fetal tissue? Would you feed your precious child chemicals that create turbo cancer? No, absolutely never not. Now, hear me. We have been fearmongered. We have been made to believe that this is the only way. When the only way is the only way, I call BS. Now, listen. I want you to know, I say this respectfully. Hey, organic bakery, let's talk. I feel a joint venture partnership coming on. Hey, Florida in the house. Great to see you. We are talking tonight about our journey from medical injury and all the environmental toxins that we face every single day. Now, 20 years ago, diagnosis for autism spectrum disorder, 1 in 10,000. Today, February 2025, boys 1 in 24. Hear me, warriors. If that's not an epidemic, I don't know how you define it. Hear me. If that isn't an epidemic, I have no idea how we define it. Now, why am I so passionate about this? Because I didn't know what I didn't know. And when my son's having a rough day, he towers over me now as a teen. When I tell him, buddy, I didn't know what I didn't know, but we're going to help other families not have to go through this. And I mean, he gets it. His comprehension is off the charts. His articulation requires some American Sign Language. Who says, what's the workaround? Okay. Now, tonight, I want you to hear me. Most people, most authentic parents that are fighting this good fight, we didn't start out this way. We got burned. And I remember the day I sat in the fetal position in my kitchen, tears streaming down my face, covered in the ashes of a bridge that went up in flames because I trusted someone in a position of authority, and they irreparably damaged my child. I will not be silent. And I will not be silent because you deserve to know the truth. Now, you hear my heart. If I could go back and change it, I probably wouldn't. Why? Because our goal here is never about arriving. Sorry. Our goal here isn't about arriving. It's about who we become along the way. And I am so excited to share with you the things that really work and heal. And I can do that uncensored and unapologetically in this masterclass. And it's free. We're going to meet for less than 30 minutes. And I want you to know you have a right. And I'll be straight with you. No person in a medical authority, no person in educational authority ever told us this. They said, do this CDC schedule and don't ask questions. That's exactly what happened to us. And if we are in a portion of the country that's pretty conservative, I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm really surprised by that, actually. Now, if you're getting value, put value in the comments. If you can relate, put relate. And if you're on the live, put an L. If you're on the replay, put an R. And I really don't have all the answers, but this is my heart. I'm going to show you a little quick picture here. And this is what I want to do. Let's peel back the layers and let's pour some water on the wounds, on the questioning, and let's grow together. This is my mission here. I am here to say, hey, if I can spare your family the devastation and the burned bridge of trust that we've experienced, I want to do that. It does not make me Miss Congeniality, trust me. Now that things are changing politically, that is happening. Now listen, I am not a politician and it is not a Valentine. I want the people in positions of power to make the right decision for our children so that we are not looking at 1 in 24 for boys to have a lifelong neurological issue. Now, I am so thankful that if you have not been affected by this, that maybe you can say, 1 in 24, I probably know a family that's been affected by this. I'm going to share this video with them because we want to get the word out, not to fearmonger, not to shame or blame, but to heal. Hear me, warriors. We're here to heal. And when someone in a position of authority tells you something just doesn't sit right with your spirit, I want you to hear my voice and watch my little fingers go, who says? What's the workaround? Who says? What's the workaround? There's more than one way to do anything. Now, if you're just joining us, please let us know where you're chiming in from in the chat. Oh, because the truth will set you free. Thank you. Little Flowers Organic Bakery. Thank you for being here. You guys go check out that business because they're sharing truth as well. Now, what we have done in the last 11 and a half years, My son and I have been gluten-free, celiac, gluten, wheat. And it's mainly because of the glyphosate. Because when I lived in Japan, not an issue. They don't use the same pesticides. A number of other countries have banned glyphosate, Roundup. And hear me, we don't know what we don't know. And I really didn't have any idea how lousy I felt until I started having these welts everywhere. Now, for those of you who know me, that's a pretty big deal. I'm like, they showed up on my face. If they had shown up on any other part of my body, I probably would have tried to ignore it and kept going. But no. When we feel like we could lead a leper colony, that's when we get help. And not one person in the medical field told me to do this until I went to see a nutritionist. And they said, yeah, I want you to cut out wheat and gluten. And I mean, it has changed my ever loving life. Now, I'm not saying that's the right thing for you. I'm saying, hey, let's step into our power and let's think for ourselves instead of popping prescriptions and ignoring the problem and treating the symptoms. Now, for my son, our journey with school has been straight up hell. I mean, ninth level purgatory. And why is that? Because we decided to choose medical exemptions. Did you know the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, protects your right as a parent to make medical decisions for your minor children? Hear me, warriors. The 14th Amendment Due Process Clause protects your right to make medical decisions for your minor children. And those decisions are in the hundreds by the Supreme Court dating all the way back to 1979. Can you believe this? That not one person in authority for education or the medical community ever volunteered that information. I had to go find it out for myself. And thankfully, there's a mom army that's coming for every one of you. And I am here to say, I'm glad this may not have affected you. If your children are neurotypical and you've never had any kind of medical injury, hallelujah. If you know someone, and the odds are, if boys are 1 in 24, that you know someone or you know someone who has a relative that has been affected by a neurological issue. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I don't have all the answers. And I will be the first to admit to say, hey, maybe there's another way to do this. I don't know. What I do know is that I've been led to lead this charge. I've been called to lead this charge. Is it comfortable? No. Is it something I would have ever chosen? No. Would I change it? Not in a million years, because of who I'm becoming along the way. Now, I founded Warrior Moms by Bren when my son was medically injured at 22 months. That has evolved and grown into the Warrior Nation. And we are having campfire meeting on the 25th. So get your cameras ready, take a screenshot. Here we go. Free online masterclass to take back your right to parent your way. This is not limited to just taking back your right to parent. This is taking back your power to navigate your health as well as your family's health with the laws and the statutes that are already in place, and how to do that step by step. Now, please hear my heart. My mission here is for the Warrior Nation to be your resource for balance, transparency, and truth. Please resist harming the messenger. I know very few people that will sit down and read the 2-point font vaccine inserts. It's usually buried in section 5 because no one wants to read that far. And that's where you will find every single ingredient: aluminum, formaldehyde, aborted fetal tissue, and all these substances that injure and at sometimes kill. Now, I know this is a tough love. Thank you for grace. Let me start with 100. And please click that link when we repost the video so that you can join us at our campfire meeting in our free masterclass on the 25th. Remember, the Warrior Nation, your source for transparency and truth. Warriors, unite.